Apologies, everyone. There's going to be a few things I kind of omitted in the following video, so I'd like to add them here now before we begin. So the reason I did this video in the first place is it was requested by Reverend Victoria, a friend of mine over at Ancient Inner Ministries. I'll leave a link to her channel down below. You should go check her out. She's very nice. And she is an actual minister. She's certified and stuff. So she is interfaith. She practices a Christian and Kemetic blended path. And this was something that really, when I talked about it before, really interested her. And unfortunately, I just forgot about it. And then a lot of things happen, life. And yeah, I just happened to remember it tonight. So I was like, oh yeah, I was supposed to do this video for you. Let me go do that. So yeah, you guys should go check out her channel down below. She's pretty cool. The other thing that I will say in the video is, and I did try to correct it with visuals, but I know some of the people, at least that are watching my channel, are having visual problems. They're either blind or missing an eye, or just have bad eyesight in general. So I'd like to go ahead and just say this. When I'm saying 14th century and 12th century, I mean BCE, before the Common Era. So this is 2,000 years plus 1,400 years. So this is 3,400 years ago when I'm talking about the 14th century. I also mentioned the 12th century with the Israelites, and I do mean 12th century BCE, before Common Era. So yeah, I just like to go ahead and say that here. Another thing is, I said 18th century dynasty king when I referred to Akhenaten. He is an 18th dynasty king living in the 14th century BCE. So I hope that clarifies a few things in the following video. So yeah, enjoy. Nini everyone, Zabora here. So today we're going to be talking about the Psalm of the Aten. I'm going to be doing a comparison between Psalm 104 and the Great Hymn to the Aten. Now, supposedly the Great Hymn to the Aten was written in the 14th century by Akhenaten. He is an 18th century dynasty king who was father to probably one of the most famous kings, Tutankhamun. So, during Akhenaten's 20-year reign, he and his wife Nefertiti founded the city of Aten, based upon a supposed sign from the Aten itself. Akhenaten and a group of his merry men rode out into the desert all night long. Come morning, as the sun rose, it rose between a gap in the cliffs that resembled the Egyptian hieroglyph for the horizon. So it actually looked like the sun was coming up out of the horizon. Akhenaten took this as a sign. That's where he built his city, which is now modern day Tel El Amarna. It's here that Akhenaten and his wife, the most beautiful woman in all of the land, reigned as king and queen. They established a new religion and became the high priest and priestess to the Aten. If you'd like to hear more about the heretic king, let me know in the comments down below. I love talking about Akhenaten. He's fascinating. So now, various rock tombs in Aten is where we find the short hymn to the Aten. But we're going to be looking at the long version, or the great hymn, which was found in the courtier king I's tomb. So I, actually took over as a king later on down the line after Tutankhamun died. So, alright, so if we look at the hymn to the Aten, we have the sole God besides whom there is none. In Psalm 104, we have Yahweh, my God, you are very great. Hymn to the Aten. How many are your deeds? You made the earth as you wished, you alone, all peoples, herds, and flocks. Psalm 104. Yahweh, how manyfold are your works! In wisdom you have made them all. The earth is full of your creatures. Hymn to the Aten. When you set in the western light, earth is in darkness as if in death. Psalm 104. You make darkness, and it is night, when all the animals of the forest come creeping out. Aten. Every lion comes from its den. Psalm. The young lions roar for their prey. When the sun rises, they withdraw and lie down in their dens. Aten. When you have drawn, they live. When you set, they die. Psalm. When you hide your face, they are dismayed. When you take away their breath, they die. Aten. You set every man in his place. You supply their needs. Everyone has his food. Psalm. These all look to you to give them their food in due season. Aten. The entire land sets out to work. Psalm. People go out to do their work and to their labor unto the evening. Aten. The fish in the river dart before you. Your rays are in the midst of the seas. Psalm. Yonder is the sea, great and wide. Creeping things innumerable are there. Aten. Birds fly from their nests. Their wings greet your caw. Psalm. By the streams the birds of the air have their habitation. They sing amongst the branches. Aten. He makes waves on the mountain like the sea, to drench their fields and their towns. Psalm. You make springs gush forth in the valley. They flow between the hills. The trees of Yahweh are watered abundantly. Now you'll notice a lot of the same imagery and the same words are being used between the Psalm 104, the Psalm to Yahweh, versus the great hymn to the Aten. So maybe it is sort of a reimagining. Psalm 104 is a reimagining of the great hymn to the Aten. I really don't know. I wasn't there when it was written. But Israel has, like the nation of Israel as a people, have a very long, rich history. I think it's like in the 1200s is when you actually see Israel written down into a stone tablet for the first time. So I don't necessarily believe that Akhenaten and his monotheistic Aten god, who was the one, the all, the manifestation of other deities, came from the Aten. I'm not sure if that influenced the Jewish people. I personally I don't think so. I don't see enough evidence to link the two. But it's entirely possible that this psalm is a ripoff of the Aten, of the great hymn to the Aten. So I don't know. For me personally, I don't think it influenced monotheism in the Abrahamic traditions. I think that was something that was all just evolving naturally alongside other cultures, like the Egyptians and the Canaanites and the Babylonians and the Assyrians and the. So I don't necessarily believe that Atenism inspired monotheism in the Abrahamic traditions, but I do see a lot of similarities between the great hymn to the Aten and the Psalm 104 to Yahweh. So yeah, let me know of your thoughts down below. That's it for tonight, guys. Senate.